Hey, what's going on out there in YouTube land? What is happening, good people? You are now tuned in to another dope video here at No BS Allowed TV, the place where we discuss truth, life, love, and all dope things in between. I am your host, that guy, King P, aka Big Game James, aka Pastor Offering, aka D Ice 9, aka the reason why you are here, universally known as the undisputed world heavyweight champ of common sense. Now, you saw the title of the video, and we're going to get right into it because that's how we do it. First of all, I would like to shout out everybody who checked out my last Michael Jordan video. Uh, Shout out to all of you, um, in the comments, for the likes and the views and everything. Um, I really appreciate that. Um, this video is not going to be so much as a rant. It's just going to be basically talking about facts, and mainly a salute to to Mike on his birthday. Um, as we all know, uh, not only is it Mike's birthday, it's also the late great Jim Brown's birthday. Um, happy heavenly birthday to that brother, and also it's my mom's birthday. So, hey, mama, happy birthday! I love you, and I will see you soon. Now, moving on. Um, it is also All Star Weekend. Now, way back in 1985, when the world first saw Mike on this biggest stage, he he actually set some trends that you see still being active to this day. What trends am I talking about? I'm talking about, well, coming to the piece all swagged out and real fresh, crispy. Uh, no, we're not talking about the jeans that he wore later on, and in the big suits and all that. No, 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 we're not talking about that. What we're talking about is rookie Mike was on something totally different. And him being on something totally different is what got him frozen out of the 1985 All Star game. And he showed up. He did the dunk contest. He did the dunk contest. He started out the dunk contest in Air Jordan warmups, which was like, to the old guard of the NBA, was like, who is this cat? And also he was out there iced out. Well, he wasn't iced out, but he had on his two chains. And they were chokers, but they were two gold chains nonetheless. And he was doing this thing. And again, the older NBA stars was like, yo, this cat really think he's that dude already. Never mind, he was already tearing up the league, but they just weren't feeling the attitude. And people like Isaiah Thomas and others orchestrated a plan to keep the ball out of Mike's hands. And that's why, even though he was an all-star starter, he only scored 7 points. All right. Then going back to the dunk contest, Mike actually started the trend of, for All Star Weekend, of cats rocking different sneakers. Now, mind you, of course, the Air Jordan line had just jumped off, but the world really hadn't really gotten a good look at the actual Jordan 1. Mike he had been wearing the Airship. And yeah, there's all these stories about the league banning the Air Jordan 1 or whatever. They banned the Airship. When Mike was actually in the dunk contest, he debuted the black and red Jordan 1, the bread Jordan 1s. And, he did his thing. He came in second to Dominique Wilkins, um, establishing that rivalry, which concluded in 1988, for dunk supremacy, whether you think he won it or not. Again, we are talking about defining iconic moments here. All right. And of course, the dunk contest launched a million posters. You got Mike doing the one hand cradle dunk, reverse cradle dunk. The glasses, the chains flying, and all that. I mean, it's just an iconic picture. And again, Mike started the trend of coming to the games, real fresh and what I mean, on point. It was something like the NBA had never seen. And another interesting fact about the whole 85 thing was, of course, because Isaiah was the catalyst for Mike getting frozen out, the very next game the Chicago Bulls played, Mike gave, they played the Detroit Pistons, and Mike gave them 49. All right. So the impetus of the Detroit Chicago rivalry really began back in 1985. Now, moving on, Mike has had a lot of iconic defining moments. And to be considered iconic, you have to raise the standard to such a level to where everything that comes after you, it pales in comparison. And Mike not only did that, he set the bar so high that we're still talking about him now. And the man's been retired over 20 something years. So that in and of itself is something to think about when making comparisons or pitting this person against pitting this player against that player, that whole thing. Um, and a lot of times, these conversations fail to include not only the accomplishments, but again the moments. Think about the moments that Mike has had on the court. Of course, there's the multitude of highlights and all of that, but we're just talking about the moments. Take for instance, okay, the retro Jordan 4 dropped today, the Breads. All right, again, an iconic shoe, but it's an iconic sneaker because of what Mike did in it. All right, again, Mike had a definitive moment in those sneakers, thus searing into your brain that image. All right. And what he did was he hit the shot to beat Cleveland, send them home in the 1989 playoffs. All right. Game five, hit the game winner. The Bulls were not favored to win that series. Cleveland was a pretty formidable team back in the day. And the Bulls were just on the ascent. Again, if you listen to what I said in my last video, Mike was viewed as a score first, really just a scorer. Even though the year prior he had won the defensive player of the year, but still he was viewed as a step or two below Magic and Bird. Well, the Bulls' ascent really began in 1989, and it began with the shot. Mike, had to give some context to this whole thing. Again, as I said, the Bulls were not favored to win the series. And in fact, in game four, Mike missed a free throw that would have actually won game four for the Bulls, but he missed it. So, come game five, all the chips on the table. It's clutch time, it's money time. And Mike came through and hit that iconic shot. There was the over the top celebration, he pumping his fist and all that and what have you. Again, iconic moments. There were more iconic moments to come. There was the move in 1991. What move am I talking about? 1991 NBA Finals against the Lakers. Game two. The Bulls had lost game one. Mike again missed the last second shot. And everybody was talking about, well, maybe this series will probably end, it go 5 games, the Lakers win in 5, or maybe they even sweep the Bulls. The Bulls may not be ready yet. It's still Magic's time. Well, what happened is the Bulls blew the Lakers out in game 2. And during the blowout, Mike gets the ball at the top of the key from Cliff Levingston. And on a kickout pass from Cliff Levingston, Mike makes his move, blows past his defender, goes down the lane. He's about to dunk, but he sees Sam Perkins there, and he switches hands midair, right to left, kisses it off the glass, hangs in the air for what seems to be like an eternity. Everybody, everybody went crazy. The announcers went crazy. The Bulls bench went crazy. Everybody went crazy. Hadn't seen anything like that. Kids and on the playground the next day trying that. Hey, I know I was. Again, iconic moment. You had to be there. You had to, you know, you had to witness that live or on TV in order to get the magnitude of the moment. And no other player had the portfolio of iconic moments like MJ. Think about the shot two, 1993 NBA playoffs, again against Cleveland. This time, Mike hits the game winner that sends Cleveland home in a sweep. Now, prior to that, the Bulls had just came off a grueling series against the Knicks. The Knicks took them to 7 games. The year before, they had to battle with the Knicks. But this year, not only was it harder because this was the third year of the three-peat, also the Bulls were coming, well, Scotty and Mike were, this was the season after the Olympics, playing with the Dream Team. So Mike and Scotty essentially had no real rest. And they had to battle 7 games against a tough Knicks team. And then they had to deal with Cleveland. Again, as I stated, Cleveland was quite formidable. Cleveland was no joke. And they also had Gerald Wilkins, who was supposed to be the Jordan stopper. Now, if you know anything about basketball, you know that there were lots of guys who were supposed to be, guys that could, give Mike a hard time. And this is nothing against Gerald Wilkins. He was a good player. He was a good player. He wasn't his brother, but he was a good player. But also, he wasn't anybody that was going to really give Mike problems. Well, again, last second shot, couple of seconds on the clock. It's money time. The Bulls get it to Mike. Mike does his thing. He gets to his spot, raises up. It's over with. Not as enthralling as the first shot against Cleveland, but still effective nonetheless. And again, another defining moment. And not all of Mike's defining moments were actually successes. Another defining moment is when in 1995, playoffs, losing to the Orlando Magic. Yeah, Mike didn't play a full season. He had came back from baseball, what have you. Even in him announcing his return from retirement, that in and of itself was another defining moment. But we're going with physical defining moments within the game. And in 1995, the Bulls lose to the Orlando Magic. Everybody's like, well, ding dong, the king is dead. It's over with for the Bulls. Well, what does Mike do? Mike gets ready that whole summer. The Bulls get Dennis Rodman, and they come back, and they run it back. And boy, did they run it back. 72-10, Mike sweeps all the individual awards, MVP, All Star MVP, Finals MVP, all that. And in the midst of all of that, they come back and they play the Orlando Magic again, and they sweep them. They dispatch of the Sonics in 6 games. Bulls back on top again. Defining moments, iconic defining moments. That image of Mike sobbing on the floor, in the Bulls locker room after they've won Game 6 of the 1996 NBA Finals. He's grieving for his dad that was killed back in 1993. All those emotions coming out for the world to see. Yeah, again, another defining iconic moment. Then you go into 1997, Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Hits the game winner on Byron Russell, and hits it like it's nothing. Throws up the fist, and you just knew that the Bulls were not going to lose that series, which they didn't. They won the series in 6. 1998, the last shot. We all know Game 6. Mike hits the jumper at the free throw line, dismisses the defense of Byron Russell, raises up, splashes it. Game time. That again, another shot, another poster, another iconic image that sold billions, probably billions of posters. We all know it. Just some footnotes in the great career of Michael Jeffrey Jordan. You have the 88 dunk contest. Uh, you have the 87 dunk contest when he debuted the flying leaning dunk. All of that. These things are all wrapped up in the great package that is Michael Jordan, the player. And I don't care who you are, you'd be hard pressed to find another player throughout NBA history that is given the world so many moments like that. Um, the highlight reel is endless. The the praise is endless. And that's what happens when you're legendary. That's what happens when you are indeed the bar. As opposed to raising the bar, you are the bar. You become that standard of excellence. And that is what Michael Jordan is. He is the standard of excellence of basketball, which all other players now are being compared to. And some of them, are still writing their stories. Some stories for other players have been completed. Either way, all great players now will be compared to Michael Jordan, just as Michael Jordan was compared to the great players of his time. But he has exceeded so many expectations and thoughts and dreams of what a complete basketball player could be. And so this is where we are now. He pioneered a lot of things, and a lot of things that we hold dear today. Um, of course, there's always, of course, as I mentioned in my other video, there is an agenda there is an agenda being, that has been established to diminish Mike's accomplishments, diminish Mike's achievements on the court, uh, all because to exalt another player to greatness. And the thing about it is that you cannot do that because we saw what greatness really is. It's not manufactured. It's not something that is cultivated by media. It's not something that you can go out and buy or you can go and pay people off. That isn't what it is. Greatness is working your butt off in the off season, even though you've already won the championship, and you come back even better than the year before. You come back in shape. Mike was the guy that had cats coming to camp in shape. Mike started that trend. You have to think about it. Just even on the championship level, okay, we could talk about the 6 rings all day, but think about this. The man has 2 3-peats, and he retired in the middle of his 3-peats, came back and won 3 more. Now, as great as is all these other players and teams have been made out to be, none of them have succeeded on that level. And that's not saying that they're not great. That's not saying that they're not, that they're not excellent teams or excellent players. It's none of that. It's just another tribute to the greatness that is Michael Jordan. And so when when you rock your Jordan 4s or your Jordan 1s, or you get on YouTube and you watch videos such as mine, or highlights, or or you go to Ticket TV, or Uncommon Sense, or Too Raw for Sports, or Fitness and Rants, those video creators, and they are talking about Michael Jordan, and other people, who are content creators or making videos about Michael Jordan, and it sounds like it's hyperbole. It sounds like they're talking about something mythical, something godlike. You have to understand, it's not that they're talking about a myth. The man actually existed. The man actually did these things. The man changed the game. The man actually walked on air. And no matter how much others want to try to discredit that or try to diminish that, you'll never be able to take that away. Mike didn't call himself the GOAT. The people called him the GOAT. And you can't argue with the people. And with that said, again, happy birthday, Mike. Shout out to all the YouTube basketball content creators out there. And I'm going to land my plane right there. Now, before I get out of here, if you feel like my video and my content have provided some value and you enjoyed what you watch, do your boy a favor. Like, comment, share, but most of all, subscribe. I'm trying to grow this thing and I cannot do it without you. All right? If you watch this video and you come to this point, hey, it's the least you can do. All right? Now, that being said, I'm going to get on up out of here. But before I do, I want to leave you with this one thing. Remember, it's a lot of folks talking, but not everybody is worth listening to. And with that said, good people, 2 fingers equals peace.